Now your 19 First Alert forecast.
Good afternoon, I'm Dan DeRoos with 19 News, coming to you from our digital desk. I'm also joined by First Alert meteorologist Andy Chilian. Andy, how are you today?
I'm good, Dan. How about you?
Hey, beautiful, crisp fall day out there. This is exactly what we should be expecting for mid to late October.
Yeah, things have really quieted down. Of course, our system yesterday, I think, reminded us that we are in October. We can get some of those systems that bring us from 80 to now the 50s, but to do so, of course, you kind of have to go in between and get the rain and wind that we saw yesterday. But the good news is we get the break, and certainly I guess the gift is to have days like today that really aren't too bad outside right now. As we take a live look outside, this is our weather camera in Parma, and you can see we've got the sun and the clouds mixed out there. So beginning to see more sunshine than what we saw earlier. I know some of those clouds may have looked a little threatening with rain, but there's no rain out there. It looks really nice. You can start to, if we take a look at this sort of in the foreground, you see still a lot of green out there, honestly, but some patches of fall color. Fall foliage has been kind of weird this year because of the drought. Some areas are already getting to peak. Others are still pretty green. I know a lot of you have probably lost some leaves, have plenty of leaves all over the place after the wind yesterday. And I'd say if you're trying to rake them, you may want to just hold off because we've got more wind and even some rain coming as we head over the next several days. So at least in the near term, we're good right now. First Alert Doppler is quiet, of course, and the thickest clouds are off in our eastern counties, and those will continue to push away and move eastward with drier conditions for the rest of the day today. And we'll be looking good for the at least early evening hours. Now, once we get later this evening, we're going to start to see those clouds build again, and that will keep us out of the 30s overnight. So some of the most rural spots may fall near 40 degrees. I'm not concerned about any frost, though. The wind will die down. It is a breezy afternoon with winds out of the west, be a light more of a south wind overnight. And then we'll start talking about the next chance for some rain, and that comes as early as tomorrow. So really, I should say late tonight. So as we take a look at our First Alert Future View, we're good for the rest of the day. Temperatures may try to touch 60 briefly here. Otherwise, we're mostly in the 50s. Now tomorrow, this is 4 a.m. You can see we're in the 40s. But here's what happens by about 7, 8 a.m. Right in time for that morning commute, we've got some rain moving in. It'll generally be a light to maybe moderate rain, but that may slow things down. Damp roadways, keep that in mind. We'll see some gusty winds with that as well. Not as strong as yesterday, the winds, but still blustery at times. Now tomorrow is what I'm calling really almost a sun sandwich. So we're going to have some rain in the morning, and then we're going to have much of the day is going to be fine. By midday into the afternoon, it'll dry out. We'll see some sunshine. It'll be back in the lower 60s. And then we're going to have another round of some showers coming, mainly near and especially after sunset Tuesday evening. That's where you can see this next batch of rain moving through with at least some scattered showers. And then after that, we do have more showers in the forecast for Wednesday. You can see the showers kind of rotating around. I'd expect what this model is showing things to move a little bit further south. So just plan on some rain Wednesday, some wind, and just a raw day overall. Temperatures, look at this, 1 p.m. and we'll be stuck in the 40s, barely trying to get to 50. So it is going to be certainly almost a late fall feel on your Wednesdays. So that's what's coming, Dan. Certainly a change from the sunny and like 70s and 80s we've seen so far a lot of this fall and even this month. We're now reminded that, yeah, days like today even remind us that we're getting towards late fall, and we're going to start to see those changes around here.
Yeah, pretty nasty day there Wednesday. We're going to take a quick 60-second break, and Andy's going to walk us through the rest of the week. And we're back, and Andy Chilian's going to walk us through the rest of our fall-looking week.
Yeah, for sure, Dan. No more of those 70s and 80s on there. So again, today briefly getting near 60. We're seeing those clouds break away. Tomorrow, showers for the early part of the day. That does include the morning commute and then late in the day. But much of your Tuesday is actually trending dry. Wednesday, not the nicest day. That's probably the worst on the whole 7 days. Showers, windy, cool, barely getting to the 50-degree mark. And Thursday, not much better in terms of warmth, but showers will be more scattered, really lake effect driven, and we'll still see the breezes around. Now, Friday and Saturday starting to turn the corner. Things will start to warm back up a little bit. Right now, I'll put a chance for at least a scattered shower on Sunday. There's still a little bit of uncertainty on what happens. We're in the time of year now that we're finally getting systems to move through. Now we have to sort of time them out. When's the rain going to be? And so this far out, even at 7 days, there's some signs that it could be on Sunday or even into Monday with our next system. So we'll continue to keep a close eye out on that. Right now, the weekend, though, really not looking bad. Certainly not a washout or anything like that. I'm not seeing a repeat of what we just went through yesterday. So that's certainly some good news if you're trying to get outdoors. And especially later in the week, Friday, Saturday, into Sunday, the wind will take at least a bit of a breather. So if you want to start raking some of those leaves then, might be best to do so. Because like I said, it's going to be pretty windy over the next few days all the way through Thursday. So more of those leaves coming down for sure as we get here into late October.
I see a lot of people turning on their heat for the first time this week.
Yeah.
Just make sure your furnace is up to date. Maybe change that furnace filter because it's going to be that kind of weather. When we struggle to get into the 50s, you're going to need some heat in the house. 19 First Alert meteorologist Andy Chilian, thanks for the update.
All right, thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Take care. We're going to see Andy and the rest of the team coming up at 3 o'clock when we start 3.5 hours of news and First Alert weather. That's on Channel 19 at 3 o'clock. Until then, I'm Dan DeRoos with 19 News. Make sure you have a safe afternoon.